Hi everyone! In today's video I will walk you through the process of how I make my own prints at home. In my previous video I explained why I make my own prints at home instead of outsourcing them, and I also go through all the pros and cons I think there are to each decision. So if you're interested in that, I will put the link in the description below and up here for you to watch the video. Now to the process. First of all, you have an original artwork and you want to make a print out of it. The first step is to have a digital file of your artwork in order to print, obviously. There are two ways of doing that. You either photograph your artwork or scan it. I think scanning might be the better option here, but when I first started making prints of my art, I was working in pastels, and scanning a pastel artwork without damaging it may be a little bit tricky, so I didn't choose that route. I chose to photograph my prints. I have considered investing in a scanner now that I'm working in oils and other mediums, but I haven't done the research, so I can't help you with that, I'm afraid. As for photographing, there are a lot of things that you need to be careful with if you decide to photograph your artwork in order to make prints. The first one is the quality of the camera. Now, I do it with my phone, but I have a very high quality phone, which I think last year was one of the top 3 cameras there were on the market. It's not a simple phone. I can shoot in RAW files, I can shoot in 20 megapixels and in high DPI enough to make A3 prints of high quality. You can do it with any phone, and it's probably better if you invest in a camera instead of a phone. I had other reasons why I did that, but you have to make some research in order to have quality photographs of your artwork if you choose to do that instead of scanning them. Shooting in RAW and having high quality digital files is extremely important in order to get good quality prints, but these are technical stuff that I have very much researched and know about, but I'm definitely not an expert. If you want more details in that, you should probably watch some videos from people who are doing it for a living instead of listening to me, because they are more knowledgeable and they will explain it far better than I will ever do. I'm sorry. Once you have a camera ready, you need good lighting in order to do that. Make sure it is diffused, not directly on top of your artwork, and it is well balanced on the sides and the corners of your artwork so that you don't have darker areas in one place and lighter areas on the other. Also, make sure there is no glare if you're working in oils or colored pencil and mediums that tend to be a little bit shinier than other mediums. And generally make sure your artwork doesn't have any dust on it, maybe pet hairs, stuff like that. It's perfectly clean so that you have the perfect photo you need in order to make a good print out of it. Apart from lighting, the alignment of the camera is extremely important too. When you scan your artwork, the scanner is by default flat, but when you photograph it, you need to be very careful to align the sides and the rotation, the angle of the camera, so that you don't have any distortion in your image. You need to make sure all of that is perfectly aligned with the artwork to have a perfectly aligned photograph without distortions and have a very good print. Now, you have your digital file either by scanning or photographing, but most of the times it's actually always, I would say, it's not ready to print. You need to edit it. You need to probably change the color just a little bit to match the colors of your artwork, maybe some details here and there, some adjustments, the crop, all of that. I do that in Photoshop and I keep my file in RAW while I do that in order to make the print as close to the original as possible. Now, with practice, you will notice that you keep making the same adjustments over and over again if you use the same environment, either the scanner settings or the environment in which you photograph, so it gets easier with every time. But every time before that first good print, you need to run test samples, put it side by side with your artwork, see what needs editing again, and print another time, see the new test and go over it again and again until you have the result you want. Now, I'm not one to believe that everything needs to be 100% perfect. The colors are very hard to match from the original to the print, and let's be honest, if you do that at home, it will not be 100% perfect. But if you get as close as possible, to the original, most eyes will not even notice the difference. And that's what matters. To be as honest and as close as possible to the original art, to have a nice, colorful, beautiful print that will make someone happy when they receive it. No one is going to take the original and put it next to the print and say, you know what, this yellow should be a little bit more to the green. No one is doing that. Just make sure it is beautiful, quality, and it will last a lifetime. And now that I mentioned the lifetime, I regret saying that because that's a choice you have to make for yourself. I decided to go with high quality archival prints, but that's not the choice everyone makes. And I don't blame them. It's a print after all. It's not an original artwork, and I don't think anyone expects them to live for 200 years before they fade. So keep that in mind when you decide how much are you going to spend on your printer and your paper. And that's the next step I was going to talk about. Now that you have your file, you can print. The printer you use is extra important, the inks you use are extra important, and the paper you use is most important than anything, I think. I've chosen an Epson SureColor P600 printer, which is an inkjet printer and uses pigment inks, which means that the prints I make, since they are also on good paper, will last a lot of time before fading. Again, that's a choice you are going to make about yourself if you want to spend that much, and I'm not sure I would be doing the same if I would do it all over again, but that's what I did. Refilling your inks for a cheaper choice in that case wastes the whole point of buying a printer like that. So keep that in mind if you do that. If you buy a printer like that in order to print high quality archival prints and then you refill your inks for a cheaper alternative, they're not archival anymore. So you either choose to get the printer, the paper and the inks all archival, or don't waste your money if you don't. The paper is pretty much similar to the paper we use to create artwork. The archival paper for a printer like that is usually 100% cotton instead of normal paper, and is meant to not fade, to not yellow, and keep the ink on it for a long time. I've tried a couple different papers. This one, I am not even going to try to pronounce that name because I did my research online and everyone pronounces it in a different way and it's embarrassing. I don't know what kind of name is that. And the Canson etching rag. Both of these papers are amazingly good, but I would go with the first choice if I could every single time because I think it's a little bit better. I don't always have access to that because I shop online, but if I do, I choose that over the Canson. Just the two I've already tried. It's good to try as many as possible for you and what you want to achieve with your prints before deciding which one is better for you and your printer, of course. I don't know what else to include in this video without making it way too long, so if you have any questions, please leave in the comment below and I will try to make a new video or answer them right away. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up before you go so that others know that it is useful for them. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, be safe, be happy and keep going for your dreams. Bye.